Today we're going to talk about every single system I've had since 2014 and break them down to see if they are worth it or not. Hopefully this video helps out with your consumer experience. What is going on, guys? It is CH from Homebrew for Life. Here with a video to talk about things that I know now, and if I knew about them 6 or 7 years ago, I would have had much faster brew days, I would have spent a lot less money, and I would have had overall just a bunch of lesser headaches. And full disclaimer, these are my opinions. None of these are laws. No one's paying me to say anything. This is just my organic 2 cents that could help you out with potentially avoiding some buyer's remorse. And I'm the warlord. I am the kingpin of buyer's remorse. I'm very impulsive. Kyle from Clawhammer made a video earlier this month on comparing electric brew and bag systems, BIAB. And he made a really good point. He said it doesn't matter if you have a Grainfather, a spike system, or whatever. Sooner or later, stuff's gonna break or gonna have to get replaced. And that's very true. I've broken a Grainfather. Come to think of it, I've had a problem with every electric brew system that I've had. That's why I'm scared to death to make product review videos. I don't make them anymore. And in all fairness, the videos should be made after about a year of brewing or 20 or 30 batches in. Everything works like a dream when it's brand new. So here's all my systems in chronological order. Number 1, first system was the Brewcraft USA system, and I'm not even sure they make these anymore, if this brand's even around. This was $200 before sales tax, standard starter kit, but my only fuss is that it came with a glass carboy. I am as anti-glass carboys as the day is long, especially if you're fermenting with Kveikis for just 2 or 3 days. You gotta buy all the accessories, they're a nightmare to clean. The story goes on. I don't remember stainless steel fermenters back in the day, and plastic definitely had a bad rap. So we used a lot of glass at that time, and I just couldn't stand it. The plastic fermenter stigma is over, thank God. And a much better kit that I'd recommend is this one from Northern Brewer. And it's about half the price. It doesn't come with a glass carboy. It's got 2 plastic food grade buckets. And I think that this is the perfect starter kit. System number 2, we went to all grain after about 5 or 6 extract batches, and the Home Depot mash tun coolers were the way to go. They work great. You could build your own for about $100 with the cooler, false bottom, stainless steel ball valve. I've made about 4 or 5 over the years for mash tuns and hot liquor tanks. They do work great, but over a long period of time, they begin to warp and they do crack. I've had 1 crack, but that was after a lot of wear and tear. One of them I still have. It works fine. And we did that for a long time. The 3-tier system with the Home Depot coolers, it's a great system. It's just, you have 3 vessels, 3 cleanups. Not really, because hot liquor tank doesn't count, but just more space. You have 3. Third system was the Kegel system with pumps. It's in the background here. This system was an absolute nightmare. It was horrible. Something always went wrong. We did get it secondhand. It took up a ton of space. It was a nightmare just to get over here. It was a nightmare just to sell. It took forever to clean. One pump wouldn't work, or one burner wouldn't work, or one burner was weaker than the other 2, and sometimes we would just have to use the one, and I didn't like it. I didn't like any of it. Something was always a hassle. It used to trip me out when I first got into brewing because I wanted all the nice stuff. Anything that made me feel like a commercial brewer was worth the price tag, or it seemed like it was worth the price tag. But I'd go to big breweries, hang out in the back, or be on a tour or something, and I noticed that these breweries started using Grainfathers or had more kind of DIY pilot systems. And not only that, but I would notice that some of the head brewers were using plastic fermenters, plastic buckets. Like I was trying to be this head brewer homebrew poser, and they were using DIY homebrew stuff for their pilot system. That kind of changed my whole thought process on homebrewing. So I pretty much wanted to keep it mostly as DIY as I could from there. Then in 2018, the kettle sour craze got going, so temp control and electric systems really got popular, at least to my knowledge. I've brewed on an Anvil Foundry, the Grainfather, Mash and Boil, probably some others. Had problems with all of them at a certain point. Some problems bigger than others. Either the pumps would break, the thermometer was way off. Some of them couldn't hold their heat. You try to bring it up to 180 and it would just go too high and then too low. And some would leak from the bottom, not from the ball valve, from the actual bottom. The diameter at the bottom were supporting that from all the electrical stuff, and it would leak there into the floor. I broke the LED screen on a Grainfather because I got a little water in there. When they work good, they're great. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong, especially in comparison with just traditional brewing methods, like the Home Depot stuff. In all honesty, I'm 100% done with pumps. After the 3rd one that's crapped out, or the 10th time you've burned yourself or got electrocuted, you just want to go back to manual Vorloffing and stirring. Pumps are 100% mandatory for commercial brewing. Pumps are 100% optional for home brewing, unless you're doing 15 or 20 gallon batches or something. If you're doing 5-gallon batches, just utilize gravity. It's free and it works when the power goes out. When I brew now, it's all about minimizing the things that can go wrong and having a very fast brew day. With propane, I can brew and clean up in about 3.5 hours if I'm not filming. If you're filming and hosting friends, it can turn into a 6-hour brew day really fast. But when I'm in the zone, I'm getting to boil fast. The boil is rigorous and I'm chilling in about 15-20 minutes. So here's my next system I'm gonna get. I don't even have it yet. I'm gonna combine my electric brew in a bag stuff with traditional propane stuff. Brew in a bag is awesome for a lot of reasons, but primarily since you just need one vessel, so it's much more affordable. It doesn't take up too much space, and it takes up about 1/3 of the time to clean. I'm pretty much sacrificing temperature control for speed. This anvil burner works extremely fast. It's by far the best burner I've ever owned. Trent from the Brew Show turned me on to Brew in a Bag about 4 or 5 brews ago. I could not believe how fast and convenient it was. Cleanup takes 5 minutes. The bag looks like it works for a bit, but mine already has kind of a small tear in it. So I've been using my Anvil Foundry grain basket. It's got holes at the bottom and on the side. Mash and boil grain basket only has holes on the bottom. It's much easier to clean than the bag too. It's kind of tricky to clean those bags, get all the grain out of them, and I wash it and don't dry it. I don't know if I'm doing that right. Clawhammer has a wider grain basket that I'm looking at. They're sold out right now, but I'm gonna try to get one. So all my grain will be properly submerged and I don't have to keep packing it down with a spoon with my current basket. And I'm gonna do all 3 of these grain baskets side by side and see what I get the most efficiency from. A lot of people use the pulley system for brewing a bag, but you could just snag a barbecue tray or jimmy rig your own. We've been squeezing the bag, but I do wanna go back to a proper sparge. Grainfather sells a sparge water heater system. It's very expensive, but you can just get your own commercial coffee maker for a fraction of the price and connected to a temp control to 170 degrees. This is mine. Easily one of the best things that I own in my brew house. Heating up 1 or 2 gallons of water to 170 only takes about 20 minutes. It's not a problem. But heating up 6 or 7 gallons of wort on an electric system at 120 volts can take maybe an hour and a half when it's cold and an hour in the summertime. And as far as thermometers go, I pretty much only trust the Inkbird's thermometer at this point. I only use that. A calibrated thermometer is the most important tool you will ever have in your brew house. It starts from there. If that's off, everything's off. Your mash is off. Your sparge is off. Your boil's weird. You should be able to eyeball your boil. I'd be on an electric brewing system and I'd look at the LED or LCD screen and it would say 212 and there'd be no boil. And I'd put my Inkbird in there and the Inkbird would read 198. And you're like, damn, that's more than 10 degrees off. Like this isn't good. Inkbird for life. So that's gonna be my new system. That's where I'm at in brewing. If I'm brewing a kettle sour, then I might be doing it on an electric brew system, but I haven't brewed one in a long time. 9 out of 10 times I'm not doing a kettle sour. So I'm gonna be honing in this brew in a bag method. Let me know if you agree with some of this stuff or I'm an idiot. Check us out on our live stream every Wednesday night. If you have any questions, thank you for being here. Cheers to eating good. Cheers to drinking good.